Dead End Hip Hop album review. Got the whole crew here, but there are new faces. We got Nikki Duce. I know he said drop the Duce, but whenever I see him, man, it's always Nikki Duce. It's always a great time when me and Nick is on the same joint. And then we got Jalen. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might know him as Doc, definitely behind the scenes cat on Dead End Sports and other Dead End properties. But he's showing his face today. You know what I'm saying? Front and center. And today we are talking Key Glock Glockaveli. But before we get into it, make sure that you become a patron today. Main reason is the listening. There are several unreleased joints that have still yet to be released by some of your favorite artists that we've interviewed, and that's the only place that you can get it. So if you miss it live, the only place you can get it is on Patreon. So become a patron today and support your favorite hip hop channel. That being said, Key Glock Glockaveli. Ken, would you say that this was, and I know you don't anticipate albums and all of this type of stuff, but would you say for Key Glock fans this was this was a highly anticipated project?
I don't know if I could say that, but what I will say is that Jalen and Nick definitely built up some hype for it. You know, and it was in part of a conversation that we were having with Spike from Another Week in the Books and Dead End Sports, and Frames per Second is the mic still on, about Key Glock versus whatever whack rapper he has. Mainly Belly Gang Kush or whatever his name is. But yeah. But it was it's all in good fun. But yeah, it was really just a conversation that kind of started with that. And Nick and Jalen have dropped some shit in the chat. And I'll listen to it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually kind of dope." I think the Grinch was one, and I think they dropped another one, and I was like, "Oh, this shit is actually dope." So I think just them talking about it over the last couple of weeks leading up to it definitely built it up.
So for y'all two, y'all felt like this was highly anticipated as Key Glock fans?
It's highly anticipated for me, just because. I don't want to start off with the hot takes, but all I'm saying is, because I want to get into the conversation, because I think there is a really big conversation that people are not having about Key Glock that they really need to. But it was highly anticipated for me because I'm going off of Glaucoma 2, which he dropped, I think, Jay, what was that? Was that 2023?
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Yeah. So like he dropped that. And I think at that time we were reviewing Gunna's project, Gift and a Curse, and I was saying if it wasn't for Gunna's project, I would say that's probably my running for like hip hop album of the year.
You did say that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've been following him closely since Dolph passed, because I always tell people like the last gift that Dolph gave us is Key Glock. So, and he's just, to me, turned up. So like anytime he drops a project, I'm really listening to it, because he seems like one of the few artists that actually really cares about crafting projects that you could just kind of play through. And also he's by himself for these projects. Like he ain't no features on this. The only features would probably be the producers. You know what I'm saying? So like and for as much content he drops, and it's just literally by himself, I think that's something that people need to really tune into and see how well he does it, because I think he does it at a high level.
Yeah, it was highly anticipated for me. I wouldn't say highly anticipated for the year, but it was highly anticipated for me. And I remember I told you, Nick, that I made you revisit the statement as far as Glaucoma 2 being as good as it was, because I was like, it's trap album of the year. And you was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was like, bro, that thing not. And you was like, I don't know. And then you came back to me like, all right, you got a point.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay, I give you that, because I remember talking about it. It was just the fact that I was just so focused on like Gunna's run at that time was nuts, and I was just like, ain't nothing compared to it. And then when he was like, nah, revisit that, and I'm like, let me check it out. And I'm like, I'm still listening to it till this day. This album made me go back to Glaucoma 2. Honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, I was anticipating this. That's why I had to drop the songs in the group here now. Yeah, every time you drop a song, it just made me like more anticipated of what was gonna come. So yeah, like, and I'm not the biggest Key Glock fan. Like I like Glaucoma 2 made me a believer. I listened to Dumb and Dumber and Yellow Tape, and it was cool to me. But Glaucoma really made me like tap into Key Glock.
That's what's up. So what's the bigger picture here, Nick, that you wanted to talk about here?
I think he may be the best rapper out of Memphis right now.
That's not a stretch. I mean,
Yeah, why is that such a hot take?
Well, because you have people like Gotti, you still got Glorilla, you got Moneybagg Yo, like, you know what I'm saying? You got big artists that people will be like, nah, these are the headliners. But I'm like, if you're talking about projects, and if you're talking about someone who has like Feefo, I think you could agree with this. His ear for beats is A+.
100.
Like, I don't think you can't name me 5 to 6 rappers who have better beats per project than he does. And
It'd be tough.
And I think I think the way he puts projects together, especially this one, sometimes the sequences or just like the runs that he goes through, like sometimes there's like track 1 through whatever, you could be like, just let that shit play, and you'd be like, bro, this shit is, especially Mr. Bump in the Whip, I know this shit dump. Like, some of these songs dump. And I'm like, who else in Memphis is putting out this much consistent heat? Like, within, like, if you look at the last 3 projects he did, or if you put this one up with Glaucoma and the previous one, like that 3 project run, I'm like, who in Memphis is doing that right now? And I think, like, for me to say that, it's a respect to Memphis, because I think we've had conversations where Memphis may be taking over Atlanta as far as people like the new sound wave and like where people are getting a lot of their influences from. And for me to say he may be the number 1 out of all that, to me is a big announcement. That's why I would say that.
I mean, I don't think it's a stretch, but I still got Glow. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. People will have other artists. They're like, nah, that's this person, this. I'm like, but if you put up, like, to me, this project made me think, like, I want to hear Glorilla's new tape, because I'm gonna compare it to this project. And if it's not as hitting, then I'm like, bro, he's the de facto number 1 in Memphis.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Feefo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like, you know, it depends on the bucket that we're talking about. Because, Nick, I agree with you where I do think Key Glock makes the best overall projects out of anybody in Memphis right now. Because when I compare him to Glow, that first Glow project that we talked about, like, it wasn't hitting, and then she came back and, you know, it was definitely on point. But when you look at Key Glock's consistency, right, like, it's hard to say that there's somebody better. They're bigger artists. Moneybagg Yo, Gotti, everybody you named are bigger than Key Glock, but crafting like a project beginning to end, and then the way that he's doing it dolo. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else got big features and this, that, and third. It's hard as fuck to carry, you know, 35, 45 minutes worth of music by yourself, you know, and he does it really well. So that's why it depends on the bucket that we're talking about. If we're talking hottest, he's not the hottest. But if we're talking about like who's crafting the best projects out of Memphis, to me, it is Key Glock.
And to me, I put it all together. Like, I think it's hard to say he's the hottest in Memphis, because obviously, but I think he is the best hip hop artist in Memphis right now. If I had to put money on a hip hop artist in Memphis, I'm pushing all my chips in on.
Listen, I get the hot take, but I don't agree, just because there's also an issue. Like, there's something that I do want to mention about this project. And I was going to wait till we actually start getting into the review about it. But I guess my pushback would be is like, it's not like the sound is like evolving. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that could be an issue. That could be an issue in the long run for Key Glock. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why I can't just be like the best artist out of Memphis, because it's not like like, I can look at Glorilla and be like, that first EP wasn't the best, and then everything like that shit slapped, and then Glorious, I can see that she was trying to be more commercial and still have hits on it. And hell, I went to see Kendrick and must have played like 4 Glorilla songs and all them shit went off. So it's like, bro, like, I can't really like put Key Glock and say like he's the best artist, because it's not like he's like evolving the sound. It's like in a specific bucket for him.
What do you say? Okay, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, yeah. Let's jump into the review, because I think that's a great place to dive into the deep end, Jalen. You know what I'm saying? We said fuck the 3.5 feet, it's 6.5 feet, and that's where we're going. Now, I will say this, Jalen. I don't disagree with you in terms of the evolution of Key Glock's sound, but I think that, you know, there's artists in hip hop, Pusha T, Jada, Benny the Butcher for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just guys that do what they know what they do well, and Key Glock does that, and it lends to the consistency portion that I was speaking on earlier. But this album, man, it slaps beginning to end. Thank you for calling me Mr. Bump of the Whip, Nick, because this joint definitely bumps in the whip, and I don't think there's a better place to play this album. You know, say I listen to it in the headphones, I listen to it at the crib, but in the whip is where it goes. You know what I'm saying? The way it starts off with Hallelujah. And I will say, I don't know who produced it. I don't, typically get into the credits and stuff like that. I always typically leave that for Beezy 430. However, this shit, oh my God, the Grinch, Hallelujah. What's the name of the second joint? Glockaveli, Blue Devil, with the same sample that 3-6 used. You know what I'm saying? On that one, I'm bad with names, but one of their biggest songs.
Stay Fly.
Stay Fly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, She Ready. Yeah, man. Like, but this isn't a departure of Key Glock. This is just, you know what? Look, I always talk about other things, metaphorically speaking. Key Glock is in the realm of like Porsche. You know what I'm saying? The car, where it's the same car just revised, and this is just a new Key Glock project. Like, it ain't nothing special, it ain't nothing crazy, it ain't, like you said, Nick, there ain't no features. It's a really good Key Glock project.
I don't know why I feel like the production on this one is better than the last one, or maybe I just like the beats more, which could be the same thing, I guess. But I think in terms of consistency, he's there. But to what Jalen is saying, like, are we gonna take it a step up? And I think there's a slight step here in terms of production for me. The rapping is gonna stay what it is. I mean, he does one thing and that's it. I don't know if we can expect much there, but can you deliver? Like, when I put this on, what are you gonna give me what I expect? And I think he did there. I think the production for me is where I felt like it improved. Not that he's been in WAP production, but I felt like the beats, I'm like, oh yeah, that one's good. That one's good. Like, there's a run on here that's crazy for me. It starts with Blue Devil, and then it rolls all the way to 10, bro. Like Sunny Days, like, and Watch the Throne to Badu to She Ready to No Sweat with the Key Sweat sample. The Grinch is one of the ones they shared in the chat. Sunny Days with the Sunny sample, bro. Like, hey man, that stretch right there for me just cements this old joint, bro.
And to me, that's when Jay. That's why I wanted to ask Jay clarification on what he means by trying new sounds, because like this first half, like the first 10 tracks are very sample heavy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but it's not in a easy, like, oh, you can clearly hear where the sample's coming from. Not to say that you can't recognize the sample, but the way the beat switches of how it uses the sample is different than I've heard it or how I would expect to hear it. And again, the bass ain't letting up either. Like, it's knocking, but like, to me, I'm more impressed with the run after that, because it seems like, because to me, samples are easy, not easy, but they're easy to kind of digest.
Cheating. You think they're cheating?
Yeah, you grading with a curve, right? To me, once you hit after Sunny Days, once you hit Paper Cuts to All Dogs Go to Heaven, bro, some of them beats was like, I've never heard Key Glock rap on. Like, when we talk about Again, Dundada, like, to me, Dundada is and then you go hard. The bonus tracks, because I had to get Glockaveli the Don. Feefo. If I'm gonna listen again, I gotta get the extended version. The way he ended with Go Hard and All Dogs Go to Heaven, it's like, these are like, to me, that was like, if you want me to tell you like the different tracks, like he made a song for the ladies with She's Ready, and then he made a song for like kind of like Future, how he ended that last project he had with like what he was talking about, my dog did fentanyl and all that shit. But All Dogs Go to Heaven with this one, like he ended it with like a very like, you know what I'm saying, like as emotional as Key Glock can get kind of track. And I'm like, okay, he's kind of expanding on some of his subject matter, but that second album run, or that second half run, is just cream soda. I'm getting it. I mean, like
cream soda, but
that shit, like, bro, this shit is like, bro. Like, I know, again, Feefo. I'm not saying no one else can understand this, but Feefo, I know when you listening to the wit, it's like I could just follow. These beats are lullabies. Like you could just easily fall into it. Like, granted, like you said, Ken, you're not gonna. This isn't lyrical miracle rap, and it's not supposed to be. But the spitting that he does on it, it ain't like it's just ABC rap either. You know what I'm saying? Like he's saying some of these things. It's a hood way he's saying it.
So I'm glad that you went there because I don't disagree, but when I listen to Key Glock, and this may be a hot take, like it makes me miss Dolph.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because Key Glock literally raps like Dolph's little brother. You know what I'm saying? And what Dolph used to rap about like big dog stuff, like I'm the boss, like I'm the one that's pushing the buttons. And it's like you could tell Glock runs his own stuff, but it's not at the he don't give me the same feeling that Dolph does. And it's not comparing him to Dolph, but it's like when we talked about the evolution of Key Glock, because like I'm not saying you gotta fill Dolph's shoes, but it's like I would assume that is the path. You know what I'm saying? I would assume, and I don't get that, but I'm okay with it because I feel like he's very comfortable in doing what he's doing. But when I hear Key Glock, it makes me miss Dolph, bro, because he's like his little bro for real.
Because Dolph was like the only one that would collaborate with him heavy. Like at the time early on, like I'll be honest, at the time early on when Dolph was doing the Dumb and Dumber stuff and all that stuff, I was like, bro, why does he keep featuring this nigga? Then when I found out that's his like cousin or something like that, I'm like, okay, I get it, but still. But then when you see, unfortunately, after Dolph passes, what Key Glock has done is like Dolph was ahead of his, like he knew what he was doing way before, and it's unfortunate he didn't get to see where Key Glock is now, but he knew he was early. You know what I'm saying? He was early to the party. And what I like about Glock is that he always pays homage. He knows, like, I get why y'all may be coming to me, but it's gonna be a little bit different. However, I'm always gonna let you remind you, like, because Dolph was good at picking beats too. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like he got that. He picked that up from Dolph. But yeah, it's different, but it's kind of like I guess a nerd version of what I would say is like, it's like, you know what Nightwing is, Ken and Jay. But he ain't Batman. You know, right. You know, you said, you know, he was, you know, he was under his study and he was like second in command, but he's not Batman, even though he can kind of remind you of Batman every now and then.
I think a couple of things. So as far as like the Dolph part, it is important to mention it. And I think this goes back to what I'm saying as far as like the evolution of Key Glock. So like when you really think about artists who do take that next step, it being under somebody's wing or like learning like more about music or just like figuring out how to create your sound but experimenting with it. And I don't think like Key Glock has that in his corner. Like a lot of artists do benefit from that, from being under a label from another artist or being next or having a cosign or somebody that's in their corner to do that. Glock doesn't have that. So I probably feel like that's going to hinder him a little bit. And the reason I say that it could be a problem, and not granted, there are, like you said, there's Pusha T's, there's other artists who are able to stay in the same. But even Pusha, he went from Pharrell to Kanye, and then he went outside. Like it was different, like beats, like producers that were actually producing, not just beat makers. Like so, he was able to like cultivate the sound with the same subject matter. I don't know if Glock is going to be able to have it. He's going to have to lock in with somebody that's a true producer that can make the sound evolve around like his raps. And examples would be that I'm like afraid that Glock could fall into is like the Baby or Lil Baby. Like how like you hot and yeah, you got 2 great projects, 3 great projects of this sound, but eventually that sound is like, all right, I heard this before. Like it's the same beats. Like it's the same, you're hitting it's the same flow over the same type beats. And it's not really giving me anything that's different. So again, I first of all, I love this album. Like I do. I love it. I'm a bigger fan of Glaucoma 2. Maybe Glaucoma 2 just got a soft spot right now, but I'm a bigger fan of Glaucoma 2. But this right here is still not. But I just hope that he's able to like lock in with somebody to keep his original and like his originality and everything that he's doing, but still evolve it in a way. Because also, I want Glock to get bigger. Like, he has the ability to be bigger.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do. I really do think he has the ability to be bigger.
I don't know, just for the fact of, I think he talked about this in an interview one time, but like one time he tried to get a feature from somebody. He never said who it was, but they tried to hit him over the head with like $500,000 for the asking price, and he was like, "Oh hell nah, I ain't doing that." And I feel like that kind of rubbed him the wrong way. And then like obviously you know how Dolph was. Dolph was very selective with who he collaborated with. You know what I'm saying? He just wasn't for anybody. You know what I mean? But Key Glock is even twice that. Like he don't really. The only features I've seen him do was like with Young Nudie. Who else is he do? Like I barely see Glock on anybody's
but that's on their project. No, but that's on their project. Like I just as you were talking, bro, I went all the way back. You know what I'm saying, to Glock Bond. You know what I'm saying, back in 2018, no features, bro. No features at all.
So he don't fuck. So to me, it's like you only can get as big as your network. Because when other artists try to find you, whatever, they try to see who you've already collaborated with. He don't really collaborate with that many motherfuckers. So it's just like, and then of course you got there's other people that he never will collaborate with based off of Dolph.
His own city.
In his own city. So it's just like he has to work twice as hard to be half as successful. Like to me, his catalog is arguably better than Glorilla's. If you just talk about
it's not even arguing.
You know, I'm just saying argue because some people say he doesn't have these big hits, but
we're talking catalog. We're not talking hits.
Yeah, but I'm saying like because of that, like I don't think he will get a big hit because of how he moves. You know what I'm saying? He's just building like.
Gotta get in the strip club, bro.
But even outside of that though, that's not always true. Like there's ways to like make the hit without networking or like having a feature-based project. Like, I mean, when you think about two of the past big three, like it's not like Kendrick had heavy features on his albums. It ain't like because people complain like that was one of his
but his big records were features, you know, or have features like Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice is not as big as people try to make it sound.
I know. I'm just saying, like, but like features. Fucking problems.
His biggest hits
with Rihanna.
But I'm saying like his hits, his hits even before like those songs that y'all are mentioning, like Swimming Pools, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, like All Right, Humble, DNA. Ain't nobody on it. Like, but those is the evolution of sound. J. Cole is infamous for not having features on multiple albums until the off season. Like, and he has a cult based following. I think it's just. He just has to change the sound a little bit. Even J. Cole produced his own beats up all the way to the off season, but none of the projects really sound the same. Like they sound the same, but not really the same. You get what I'm saying? Like there's a certain J. Cole sound, but you can tell each project is a little bit different. That's all I want from Glock. I want him to be able to do that because then he can create a wider range of like audience. Like, and that I think that'll be enough to propel him to be as big as I think he can be. Because it's like you said, it's not like this nigga's just the beats are just carrying him. The flow works. The nigga's actually like he's actually spitting. Like, granted, it's not like you said, it's not Lyrical Miracle, but it ain't no whack. He ain't got no whack rhymes on it. So it's like he has the capability of going up another level. It's just whether he wants to push himself to do that. So,
and I also think social media plays a big part of it in terms of being viral, right? Like we saw Jid, you know, I'm bad with names, but that song where everybody was putting their phone and twerking on it and stuff. Surround sound, you know what I'm saying? And that like that song was dope when the album came out, but it was after the fact that it went viral, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that Key Glock has those opportunities, right? He don't have to play by the same rules, and that's the beautiful thing about music, and especially hip hop. Like you don't have to, like if you do, then you know you're kind of in a cookie cutter system. But if you don't, like you said, Nick, you know you may have to work twice as hard. But the reward is way sweeter when you do get there. You know what I'm saying?
So the one viral moment he had was the Mr. Glock. They came out like it was like when it was like because people were dancing to it when it was like I be getting bag after bag after bag, and they had like the guy who was dancing, he would flip his bag 3 times, and that was the biggest viral thing. I think it was on TikTok and all that. So that was the biggest viral moment he had. But since then, like he does like again like. He doesn't put himself in those like he's literally a street rapper. Jay, I think he reminds me of the Gucci era, where like where Gucci like there was nothing that was gonna be played about Gucci on the radio, but if you was in the streets, you knew like everywhere you went, you were hearing the Wilt Chamberlains, the Mr. The East Atlanta Santas, the like he had runs where he was just like, no matter where you was at,
Gucci had a moment. Gucci had a moment where
hits though, bro.
Yeah, Gucci had a moment where he was about to cross over. Gucci constantly going to jail is the reason why it never happened though. Gucci had a moment where that crossover was about to happen.
I'm saying peak Gucci doesn't really correlate with pop mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I get your point.
Side. Like it was like peak Gucci was like when you couldn't really like you had to have Feefo. You know this. You had to have the mixtape. It was just shit that you was just playing around in the streets. Ken, you seen it too. So it's like,
yeah,
that's where I feel like Key Glock kind of fits in this era. It's not, it's a if you know kind of rap, you know, and like a lot of people are to me are gaining attraction to him based off of these recent projects. But I would be shocked if I see him on like top 100 billboards, like with a top 20 record. That's not just coming based off of him. Like he would have to collaborate with some random motherfucker to get him on a project.
I hope this album, because I think it's good as well, and I think it's and I hope it's enough to maybe get somebody to reach out to him. I think his profile continues to build. You know, Feefo and I, we reviewed some of his stuff when we were doing D365, and he just became one of those rappers that we were just like, yo, we just fuck with him, you know, and he was in that kind of bucket, and you know, and now he stays there, right, with this project. And I like the enhancement in production. Even if he's cheating Nick, I still like it. But I think to your point, the second half does have some knockers on there too. And the content. I did hear, I can't remember what song, but you know, but even there was some joints where he had a couple of good lines over here too. I didn't get a chance to write it down, but overall, man, I think that's why, you know, I wanted to talk about him. And I mean, you know, that's why I wanted to reach out to you guys, because I know you guys fuck with him, but I felt like it was about time for him to get in the chamber, bro, because I think his profile is there. And I think this was the album to do it. Even before I heard it, Jason, what you guys sent, I was like, I think it might be time to put him in the chamber. And here we are. I felt like he deserved it.
Listen, he outside of Ray Vaughn, he got the best. It's him and Ray Vaughn as like album of the years right now.
Don't do that.
Listen. Like I was trying to be modest, kid, but like if y'all want to really talk, Jay, tell me a project because we already have to.
Nigga, Life is Beautiful is right there, nigga. You acting like that shit did not drop either. Like,
man, listen, I've given Life is Beautiful his props, but that's a collab album at the end of the day. I'm just talking about like solo projects, like to me the 3 albums are Life is Beautiful, the Ray Vaughn, Good Day, Bad Day, yeah, and the Dollar Menu. And these are the top 3 hip hop albums to me of the year so far. I don't know, I could be wrong on what else has dropped, but like I can't tell y'all anything else that's really hit me as far as like I can let this play. I was listening to Key Glock all weekend long, and I'm in Connecticut, you know what I'm saying, and it sounds like Memphis when you know what I'm saying when I'm in the whip. So it's just like and it's weird how, to me, it's just weird how someone like him isn't getting a spotlight when people keep on asking, like, who's putting out good music? Who's doing this? Who's doing that?
It's regional, bro.
Yeah.
But
very regional.
But this is the region that everybody's paying attention to, the South. Between Atlanta
they don't pay attention to Memphis like that, though. Like Memphis don't have the same.
We got like at least 4 or 5 artists from Memphis that we could call on right now. That's like well known around the. It's like
well known, but who's hot right now? Glow is the only one that's hot. Yo Gotti, ever since the Dolph and all of that, like his light has dimmed. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody else, bro.
Yeah, it's Glow, and then obviously 3-6 Mafia got that shit on lock, but. That's a legacy
right now. Yeah,
we're talking right
that's
now.
A legacy, right?
Yeah, that's a legacy. Like they're always going to be mentioned as one of the greats of Memphis. But in terms of like hot right now, Glow's the only one that really has eyes on.
And I think he could be up next, though. I think the spot is there, but it's just up to him.
To me, he now. I'm trying to give as much respect to Glorilla as possible. But to me, I need to see how she follows up the Glorious project.
100%.
Because if it's not Ken, if it's the same thing that we put the Brunson burner on Cardi B with this next project, she talking about this about to be her best shit. She think she came out already saying like this next project that she's about to drop is better than her first debut album. And everybody's expecting that, but for her to say that means that we double down on that. I'm putting the same pressure with Glorilla because it's like, bruh, everybody is watching you. What do you do when everybody's
very
watching?
few people are watching Key Glock, and that's the issue.
Yep.
But I don't think he would change. I don't think he would change.
No, and I don't think so either because of Dolph's legacy and probably all of the knowledge and wisdom that Dolph instilled in him. You know, like part of the reason, and I'm gonna get back to Key Glock, part of the reason why I love Dolph so much, I felt like he's a Southern Nipsey. You said different story, but same ideology when it comes to business. And you can't be that business minded. And the dude that you are putting on, you don't impart some of that wisdom on him. So I don't disagree. I don't see Key Glock changing. However, I do think that a big feature, a big hit with somebody else on it will change Key Glock's spotlight. Will it happen? I don't know, because I just think that he's going to be steadfast in doing it his way, keeping as much money in, you know what I'm saying, not spending as much money as possible, you know. So I just think business wise, it may not, his ideology will not allow him to grow the way that we think he should.
Let's get into these grades, man.
All right. So look, this is your first time here. These are the things that we are grading: flow, lyrics, production. There are no features, execution, replay value, and then overall. So I'll start off with his flow. I'll give him a B.
I'll give him an
Ken?
A.
Okay,
me.
Nick, you give him an A. Ken?
Yeah.
You gave him an A?
I give him an A. For flow? Yeah.
I gave him a B minus.
Jalen?
I give him a B.
All right, bad. Jalen, what do you give him on lyrics?
I give him a B minus.
Got you. Ken?
C plus.
Nick?
I know why Ken is giving him a C plus, and it's not a bad grade, but I'm gonna give him a B minus just because you gotta always grade lyrics based off the artist you're talking about.
I know. I was wondering
you
if you
can't,
could.
yeah, because you can't grade like if you're used to hearing Nas and Eminem and all these niggas ain't. You always gonna grade well below than what you should. But I'm like, based off what I know, what I'm going into, this was a B minus.
Yeah, I'm at a B with lyrics, and I agree with you, Nick. Or at least the way I do my grades, I grade the artist. I don't grade them against anybody else. Because if I'm like you said, like, we compare him to Nas, nigga, your shit is an F. Like, it is what it is. But for Key Glock, his lyrics are a B. Like this is on par with everything else that he's had. Production, I'm giving him an A. What do you say, Nick?
It's A plus. I'm sorry. These batches of beats, kid. If you were to give any artist, take Key Glock out of it, kid. If you were to give any artist these batches of beats, you'd be like, bro, this is one of the most like craziest projects I've ever heard from this artist.
A plus is a bit high, even though I gave him an A, but I feel you. That's how you feel.
Look, the speaker, the subwoofers in your quit, give it an A plus, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
What about you, Ken? Production?
B plus.
Jalen?
A.
That's what's up. What about the execution?
What do you mean by execution?
Overall,
how did he execute the project? The sequencing, you know, the feature, whatever, you know, just the execution.
Get an A. Yeah, for me, get an A from that.
I give it a B plus.
B plus, Ken?
I'm at a B on execution.
I'm at a B plus. Replay value for me, on my note here, I have B plus, but I'm gonna bump it up to A minus. Yeah, replay value is A minus for me.
Man, based on how many songs I done favorited, bro, I gotta give him an A. The whole damn album damn near favorite.
Hey, Doc, based on how good this project, I went back to Glaucoma 2. This is an A plus to me.
Man, I ran Glaucoma into the ground, so that's why I can't go back.
I was listening to Last Man Standing on Glaucoma 2. I'm like, bro, the beat on that is nuts. Ken, have you heard Last Man Standing?
I've listened to Glaucoma too.
How it goes from Lean Habits to Last Man Standing is one of the greatest transitions ever, as far as like just different kinds of beats. He had that transition on this too, but let me just stop.
All right. Ken?
Oh wait, yeah, I don't think I gave it my.
Yeah, you did it. Replay value.
B+.
But overall, for me, I'm at a B+, but it could go A-, but I'm gonna stick at a B+ overall for me. What say you, Ken?
B.
Ooh, okay. It's still 3.0. That's a 3.0.
What else you hearing, Ken? That's what I be asking.
I'm always like this. I was trying to say it because I was like, I don't. Yeah, it's a B. There are 2 B+, but I don't think it's not a B+.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, Nick, you get into like 75-80% of colleges with a 3.0. You know what I'm saying? Like you good.
We ain't trying to hear that right now, Feefo.
I'm just saying you good at a 3.0.
We for the streets. This ain't for the books. I'm saying this is an A. This is an A project. You can't name me 5. Okay. You can't name me 5 projects that came out this year that's better than this holistically.
I can name at least 4. He right at 5 for me.
That's why I said 5, Jay.
Yeah, you got lucky. By the end of the year, though, he's still.
We keep saying that.
He'll still have a great album, but we still got some albums to come. So that's why I'm like, you need to slow down with album.
I'm only saying that based off of what the current momentum we got going into this year. This is a downward year.
Scared to drop, man.
This is a downward year because last year was crazy with Kendrick and Drake. And no one wanted to drop around that time. You see, they got 4 bats up out of here, kid. We ain't heard about that. nigga
no bats right now.
he came with one of the biggest songs of the year, and he went nowhere with it. So that's why people are just trying to like just see what's the surrounding area. But right now, it's crazy. 2 Chainz, Larry June, Rayvon, and Key Glock have the best projects so far of 2025, and you would not.
Saba up there too. Saba and that No ID project is definitely up there.
I haven't really. I've heard about. I haven't really got into it, but yeah. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, you wouldn't think going into this year, like, you would say that like these artists are going to carry the year so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B+.
B+.
Yeah,
I'm with there. I'm gonna say we got the same grade. Yeah, me and Jalen, most of our grades was the same, man. Nick, you flew out the window. And
I'm not flying out the window. I'm just trying to tell y'all, listen, bro. I keep telling y'all, look, I write down what the streets tell me. You know what I'm saying? I got notes. I'm a documentarian for the streets. They telling me this is what they hear.
Hey man, you turn that She Ready on when you about to go to work, bro. In the car, you turn that.
That She Ready. Hey, you play that She Ready. Hey, listen, Jay, you already know I'm talking to a couple Remy Ma chicks out here. They out here. They loving that. I sent that to a few of the little biddies, and they just heart emoji that.
Hey, Nick, man, don't put all your business out there, man.
I don't say names. I don't say names.
You see a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
I just say categories. That's it.
Hey, but look, at the end of the day, all 4 of us really liked the project. You know, there wasn't really many negative things that we could say. I think the overarching sentiment is we want to see Key Glock in a bigger spotlight. You know, regardless of however he gets there, that's what we want to see because he deserves it. He's been super consistent, and I think he reps Memphis the way that you should rep your city. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But you already know. How do y'all feel about Key Glock? The conversation after the conversations in the comment section. So like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts, and we'll catch you on the next review. And if you like Jalen and Nick on these reviews, let us know. Hit us up in the comment section, and we will get them on more if they are open to it. So catch you guys next time. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.